In this lecture, we will see how Auth 2.0 works. We will talk about the first flow of what all the flow that we have discussed. So here is the something that we need to know before we go and directly try to implement that flow. Auth 2.0 is the two-step verification, and when we say that Auth 2.0, that means the very first step is something we have to prepare the URL. We need to hit that URL into the browser, and then the end user is nothing, the resource owner is going to grant the access. Once we get the access, we are going to get the authorization code. That is the step one. So there are few parameters which needed. Authorization endpoint, from where we'll get that endpoint. Whatever the resource we wanted to access, that resource is going to provide you the endpoint. Then there is another parameter which is response type. So it will be code if you are using authorization code flow, the value for a response type. Otherwise, the value for response type will be token if we are using implicit flow. We will see both the flows. And then state parameter accepts a kind of key and value pair, and this is used to prevent CSRF attacks. When we say that CSRF attacks, that means what we do is in the first call we send some state to the authorization server, and then authorization server also returns the same state. So what we do is the state that we sent in the first request, we store that request in locally, and then the state that we get from the authorization server, we compare both the states. If the states are same, that means our request is safe and we can get that code, and then we can use that code for getting the access token. And then the redirect URI, the redirect URI is the URL where the user will be redirected after they have granted the access. So you have seen into the previous lecture when we talked about the trailhead. We have signed up for the trailhead, and we have granted the access, and then we redirected back to this page. So this is nothing, this is our redirect URI. So we will see what redirect URI we will use. And then we have got the scope. Scope is also a very important parameter which is used for telling the application, or we can say that resource owner is granting what level of access. So scope is going to determine either you are going to give the read access to some sort of resources, you are going to read write access, or you are going to give more than that, like delete and edit access as well. So this scope is going to provide that kind of information. So this is the very first step, right? So the second step is to get the access token. Once we have got the code, now what we need to do is we need to get the access token, and that access token is responsible for giving us the access to the protected resource. So there are a few parameters for this as well, and this the step 2 is going to be a post request to the third party system. That means we have to make this request either using some sort of our Apex code, because we are talking in terms of integration, which is Salesforce. So we can use Apex code, or if you are in some other languages like PHP, .NET, Python, Node.js. So you have to prepare a HTTP request and then send that request to the system in order to get the access token. The parameter that is required is the token endpoint. Again, this is what you are going to get from the document of your resource. And then the code which you have got from the very first step. Then this is the client ID. The client ID you will get from your connected application. Then client secret, and then the exact same redirect URI that you have sent or you have used into the very first step. And this redirect URI must be matching with the redirect URI that you have set up into your connected application. We will also see. So for this demo, we are going to see this the very first flow, which is Auth 2.0 flow, authorization code flow. For this demo, we are going to use a third-party application which is Auth0, and for all the Auth 2.0 flows that we are going to see, we will be using that Auth0 application. So before we go ahead and talk about this diagram, let's quickly set up an account on Auth0. So what you need to do is you just need to quickly go to Google and search for Auth0. As soon as you search, hit enter, you will get the first result which you need to visit on. So you just need to click on the first search result that you have got on auth0.com, and it is going to open you some sort of interface. and you just need to click on the sign up. And after clicking on sign up, you will have option, either you wanted to use your email or username, sorry, email as a username and then password, or you can use sign up with Google. So I have signed up with the Google, which is my email which we are using. I don't wanted to put the username and password. I don't want to remember the different usernames. So I have already set up that account. That is why it is just taking me to this page. And then what we need to do is we just need to go to here into the application, and it is a kind of free application which we have got 22 days. That means we have 22 days left. That is enough for us to do the practice. So we'll go to this application and we'll create a new connected application, because whenever we are using an auth 2.0, it means that the server, the protected resource which you are going to access, is going to create a connected application for you. So just click on create application, and I will say that Udemy integration, and then I will select I'm not going to select anything. I have just selected or you can select any of these. That is not going to make any impact, so we can just select regular web application and then create. And then we are also going to talk we are also going to make some modifications. So here we can see that we have got the client ID, which we have seen that is required into our request. And then we have got this so we will go to settings, and once you go to settings, you will see the name. This is the domain. You have got the client ID, client secret. You wanted to update some description, you can put that. You have got logo. If you wanted to have some logo, I'm going to use my logo here. Then application type, you can select regular web applications. That is okay. So you have seen that we have got allowed callback URI. So this is the redirect URI that we were talking about, where our user is going to redirect. So I'm going to select my website homepage, or let's quickly select this trailhead.salesforce.com /home. So we will put that here. And then if you have another, you can just put enter, and then you can use another URI as well. And then you can just scroll down, keep scrolling. There is something called refresh token rotation. That means if you enable this setting, your refresh token will be changed every time you are requesting a new access token. We don't want this setting to be enabled. We want our refresh token to live longer lifetime. Then we have got some expiration time we don't want, and then we can go ahead and save the changes. As soon as I will save the changes, it is going to save the changes over here. It is going to show me my icon name, you can see here. And then scroll down below, go to show advanced settings, and you can see here we have got device settings. You can use that. We are not going to use this. You have got auth, you can see here, and then you have got grant type. We have selected all these grant types which you are going to see like implicit. We have got authorization code, refresh token, client credentials. You can select password, you can select multi-factor authentication, but we will not select that. And then save this. And most important, if you go to here endpoints, you can see we have got all the endpoints that we need. We got the authorization endpoint, we got the token endpoint. These are the two important ones for the step 1, for the step 2. And this is what we have got. So what we need to do is we need to prepare the URL for the step 1. So let's do that. Let's prepare that URL over here. So we have got the authorization URL. Okay, I think we need to copy this. It is copied. We have got the authorization URL. Second, what we need is we need client ID. So we will say client ID equals to, and the client ID from our application. So just copy this client ID from here. We'll paste it here. And then what we need is we need redirect URI. So we can say, or we can just yeah, we need redirect URI. So we can say redirect URI equal to, what redirect URI we have used? We have used this redirect URI. And then what we need is we need scope parameter. So we need to give the scope. And what all scope means, what all we want our application to access from our auth 0 account. So for that we just need to go to, there is one URL which I have got this which is for scopes and claim. I'm going to share with you. So if you see here, we have got some scope like we have got profiles, then it is going to contain this. We have got email, read appointments, open ID. So we can use any of these scopes. So if you quickly scroll now or you just go to top, you can see this is what we have got as a scope. So we can just copy this. So we have got this scopes, and then what we need is there is one thing which we have got. We have got state, and we have discussed that state is kind of containing key and value. So what we can say that we can say redirect URI equal to, and then we'll copy our redirect URI from here so that we can validate our information. So that's what we have got in here. We have prepared the URL. If we get back to our step 1, we can see we have got response type. Yeah, we are missing response type. We must need to provide response type as well. So we'll just quickly go here and then we will add a response type, and this will be code. And there is one mistake in the PPT. There should be one more parameter which is a client ID. So I'll just quickly go ahead and add this. So now we have got the exact parameters here. The next step is once we have got the code. So before we go ahead and do that, let's quickly see what we have in the flow. So you are a user, you are clicking on login in any web application or your mobile. What happens? Your web application is going to send the authorization code request to the authorization server. This request is the one we have just prepared. And then what your authorization server is going to do is it is immediately going to back or prompt you the login. You have to provide your username and password. Once you have provided your username and password, and that means it is also going to ask you the consent. The consent means this level of information we are going to access. In our case, the information is kind of profile, email, reading the appointments, and then open ID. Once you have provided the valid consent, your authorization server is going to send you the authorization code. So this is the very first step. Up to here, it is very first step. We have got the authorization code, and now this authorization code is going to send to the web application or your mobile application. User will not be able to see over here. The client, the end user will not be able to see that. Once you have got that, now the next step is to send the code, client ID and client secret to auth server again, so that auth server can validate that this is the client ID that I have got in the first request, this is the client secret associated with that client ID, and then this is the code that I have sent back to the web application in the first request. Then it is going to send you some sort of ID token, access token and refresh token along with other information as well. Once you have got the access token, you can use that access token to send the to get the protected resources. Now this is the resource server, and then it is going to validate that access token. If access token is valid, you are going to get the response. It might be a success or an error response based on what resource you are trying to access. So again, to give you the quick thing, user is our end user, and then web application is our client, authorization server is authorization server, and resource server. These are all the roles, the 4 roles that we have discussed. And then again, user clicks on login, go to the authorization server, that authorization code request went to authorization server. It is going to ask you to log in, provide your consent for the very first time. This is not the multiple process, but it is one time process. And then we have got authorization code. Again, web application or your mobile application is going to send the code to the authorization server. It is going to validate, going to give you the valid ID token and access token, and then this access token is used for getting that resources, the protected resources. So that is how your authorization 2.0 authorization code flow work. Now let's quickly see that in action. So we already have prepared the first step, okay, which is the preparing the URL. The second step is that we have to send some sort of request to the system, and that for that we are going to use Postman over here. So I already have a Postman here, and in the Postman, for the second step, we'll talk about we need a token endpoint, we need code, we need client ID, client secret, redirect URI, and one important thing that we'll also talk about. So we have got this token, the URL. The URL we are getting from our application under the advanced settings. We've got this URL which is token URL. Then this is the body that we need to send. I'm not sure if I can zoom it for you. Yep. So this is the body that we are sending. Under the body, we need to send code, client ID, client secret, and then we also need to send redirect URI and grant type. Grant type will always be authorization code, and this is going to give you the access token. This grant type is telling that we have got the authorization code, now give us the access token. So we also need to prepare this body, so we'll quickly go ahead, put it over here. Okay, so first thing what we need is we need code, so we'll make sure that we are getting this code from the browser. So we need to change this client ID, so we'll get back to our application, scroll to the top, copy this client ID and paste it here. We have got our own client ID. Then we need client secret, we'll copy from here, and then we will replace here, so it is our client secret, so we'll replace with that exact what client secret we had. We also need to replace our redirect URI, so we'll go back, get back to our page, find that redirect URI and replace with that. And then we have got grant type as authorization code. Now let's quickly copy this, paste it here inside our postman. We are not going to do anything now. And the one more thing, we have got header. There is one header which we need to send as a content type, which will always be application by X URL form encoded for all the OAuth 2.0 authorization. We must need to set this. This is a kind of an important, and you can make sure whenever you are using OAuth 2.0, add this for your for getting the access token. Now we have got this body. So let's quickly see, do the first step, which is this. We are going to hit from the URL. So we'll just hit that. So if this URL is valid, it is going to take us to the sign in page. So what we did is we hit the login URL. Authorization server said that give me the access, give me, tell me who is you, tell me the identity. So I'm going to say that let me sign in with user, sign in with Google. And as soon as I signed it, it didn't ask the consent with me because I have already given the access. I have already given the access to this application. I got this code and I also got the state where I've got redirect URI and this redirect URI which is matching. We're not going to do that matching check over here. We got this code, copy that code and then replace this code with actual code what you have got from the step 1 and then save it. So now you have seen that we have got this access token over here. We've got the access token, ID token, we've got what scope we have sent, and then when it is going to expires in and what is the token type. It is a bearer, right? Now we have got this access token and we can use this access token to get the protected resources. So how to get that protected resources? Next step is if we go to our application, under the advanced section we can see that we have got this auth user info URL. So we can copy this URL and we can make another request which is for getting the user information. I have got this URL, and under the header what we need to do is pass the key as an authorization and value will be bearer followed by an space and your access token. So what is your access token? Just copy your access token from here and replace this access token with your one. And you can say content type, what content type you are going to accept, which is application by JSON, and hit send. So now you got here, you can see I've got Amit Singh, and then I can also see that my nickname, my full name, what is my profile picture. I'm getting all the information uh, about my user, whatever the user I have logged in using that authorization server. So that's how our Auth 2.0 authorization code flow works. So this is the very first code flow that we have just discussed, and this is it for this lecture. In the next lecture we'll talk about another code flow, and again if you have any questions please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.